Have you ever played a game so much to the point that you don't know what to do with it anymore? Well, that's my current relationship with Super Mario World. I started speedrunning it back in 2015, and after my run of it in 2025 at Awesome Games Done Quick, it kinda felt like a proper send-off for my Mario World speedrunning career. So if that's the case, then what is there left to do? Well, let me introduce you to Retro Achievements, a website that allows you to add built-in achievements to retro games that normally don't have them. Sign up for an account, find an emulator that supports the console you're looking for, and with some quick tweaking in the emulator, you're ready to start collecting achievements in your favorite games. If you couldn't tell already, today I wanted to try this with one of my favorite games of all time, Super Mario World. With it having a possible 85 achievements to collect, this ranges from the pretty obvious, like beating the game, to challenges that took a decent bit of time, like trying to hit 50 on the ending level goal tape. So with that, let me share with you my journey of how I got every achievement in Super Mario World. With this game having many ways to approach it from the get-go, I had to figure out what made the most sense to tackle first. When first blindly going into this, I thought that I should just go for clearing every single exit in the game, but then I saw the shortest route achievement, requiring you to beat the game in the fewest amount of stages possible. Of course, my speedrunner brain went into nerd mode, and I went, well, actually, you can just work to the credits in the first stage. But it's pretty obvious that all of these achievements are going to be through the perspective of a more casual player playing the game as intended. So in that case, it wants us to take the fastest route to Bowser through Star World. First though, I need to tackle World 1. Each main boss that is defeated in the game has its own achievement, so because of that, the very first one I got was simply from defeating Iggy. Entering Donut Plains, my first course of action is grabbing this cape feather, which will make a lot of the game a breeze in comparison. And when you look at that, I get another achievement just for collecting a feather. Continuing my beeline to Bowser, I get to the secret exit in Donut Plains 1, grab the key in Donut's Secret 1, and now I get to face off with Big Boo in Donut's Secret House. And how nice of him. That's now achievement number 3. This unlocks Star World, and I get another achievement just for entering it. Still needing to reach Bowser, I get through the 1, 2, 3, 4 keyholes, and now I'm at Bowser's front door. I can't say I was doing my best in the fight as I lost my cape, and because of that, I was informed of another achievement, beating Bowser with a fire flower. Unfortunately, I lost this power-up, so I guess I'll have to try that one later. Either way, I at least was able to finish the fight and save the princess. I unlocked 3 achievements at once. I not only got one from taking the shortest route and saving the princess, but also another for beating the game without dying. If I didn't already scoop up enough achievements there, I noticed another one I could do simply by holding up as the credits load. When doing this, Mario for some reason starts clapping and looking up, so that was easy. Alrighty then, resetting the game, I now explore World 2. Moving up to Donut Ghost House, I go for the secret exit, and using the boost to get to the goal, that knocks out another achievement. I want to quickly talk about how it says to clear the normal exit doing this. As you may have heard me say, this is the secret exit. Nintendo for some reason programmed the top secret area exit as the normal one, but I don't expect the average player to know that. But there's another fun fact for you. I grabbed a Yoshi in the secret area, and after getting an achievement for doing that, I made my way to Green Switch Palace, because hitting the green switch with a green Yoshi nets me another reward. Later on, I'll be doing the same thing with the other colored switches. At this point, I'm cleaning up more of World 2, and it's naturally time to hit up my pal Morton. Before entering, I already know of something hidden in here that was likely to be on the achievement list. Towards the top of room 3, if you go to the right into this corner, boom, that is one of the many hidden 1-ups scattered throughout the game. Getting to the very top, Morton is equally as simple, so now it's time for Vanilla Dome. I wasn't really focused on any specific achievements in this world, and instead focused on flexing my skills. I got glitched Yoshi wings in Vanilla Dome 1, and did a corner clip in Vanilla Dome 3, eventually conquering Lemmy. That's another goal down. This gives me access to the bottom of the twin bridges, and I completely clean that out. Clearing Soda Lake, this gives me access to Star World, and oh yeah, none of my progress in this world from my first playthrough was saved, since there's 0 save prompts in Star World, and I had to reset after the credits. Not an issue though, Star World is beyond easy, and I hop into Special World, which gives me another achievement. Just like Morton, I knew ahead of time that there was a 1-up hidden in Gnarly. In the first room, if you go behind these set of note blocks when going down, there pops out an extra life. In Tubular, I once again flex my speedrunning skills, and perform another set of glitched wings. This gave me access to another coin heaven, and I realized I could knock out another goal here, collecting 5 dragon coins in a single level. Speeding through Special, another goal is checked off the list, and I get plopped back into Yoshi's Island. While I could immediately go for Yellow Switch Palace, I'm gonna do the same as Green Switch, and find a yellow Yoshi to match it. I knew offhand there was a baby Yoshi sitting around in Star World 5, so I fed him and made my way back down to the Switch. Simple enough. While I'm on a Yoshi kick, I saw a challenge for Star World 4, bringing this baby Yoshi to the end of the stage without growing him into an adult. A cape made this pretty simple, just like it does with many other things in this game. But even then, I had to take the end a bit slower due to a slip-up. All that mattered was bringing the baby Yoshi to the goal. And oh yeah, Red Yoshi! Let's feed him and take care of the red switch. 3 switches down, 1 more to go. Before moving through the later worlds, I took care of the 1 exit in Donut Plains I forgot about, and started my journey on the top bridge. Just like World 3, I knew there was more to explore here, but for now, I simply defeated Reznor in Vanilla Fortress, and then eventually, Ludwig. From this point forward, I thought it would be smart to be taking the more specific achievements more seriously, so I got to work in Forest of Illusion. The first is just a matter of collecting something I haven't yet, a pea balloon. Not too many of these in the game. The next I could tackle in the same stage. Grabbing a Yoshi, if you eat enough berries, he will eventually poop out an egg that hatches a cloud, and it will throw 10 coins. If you grab all of these, you'll get a 1-up. Sadly, on my first go-around, I missed one halfway through, but on my second go-around, yippee! Thanks, Yoshi! Next up is something I've neglected to collect so far, moons. There is 1 place to each world excluding Star and Special, and the forest one is at the end of one of the ghost house exits. I guess I'll deal with the others later. Cleaning up more of Forest, I took the trek down to the fortress, but unlike the last Reznor, there isn't any achievements for this one, but there's still a secret hiding that can make up for that. Instead of entering the normal boss door, you can jump above, and with a cape, fly to a bonus area full of 1-ups. One of the few areas that probably a lot of people completely skip over. Now it's time to return the 2 previous forest stages that have their own unique challenges. The first one is getting past Nekketsu in Forest of Illusion 4 without touching him, or his dangling 1-up. You must also do it without a cape, or using Yoshi's flight ability. This one took me a few tries due to me being a tryhard and trying to speed through it, but I did eventually succeed. The other stage challenge here is in Forest of Illusion 2. Normally, it's quite easy for me to completely skip over this level due to a Yoshi clip you can perform at the very beginning. But for this, I need to beat the stage without touching any walls, enemies, or blue blocks. Being small here proved to be the most effective due to a smaller hitbox. I also started paying attention to dragon coins. There are a ton of achievements divided by world based on simply collecting 5 dragon coins in each stage that has one. Strap in, there's a decent amount of these to collect. I started doing this in Forest, so I took care of Forest 3, Forest 4, which also netted me an achievement for getting in Nekketsu's cloud, for a secret area, and even Roy, which of course gave me that completion goal. But oops, there's still a stage that I'm missing, so I'll go back for that eventually. I continue my hunt for dragon coins in Chocolate Island, and while I'm in Chocolate Island 1, I grabbed the moon present here. I kept doing this up to Chocolate Island 3, and getting the normal exit here gave me an achievement just for the circle walk you have to do for that. Once getting the dragon coins during the secret exit, that reminded me, oh yeah, I never finished Forest. The one level responsible for me not checking that box off was Forest Ghost House. Scratching that off, the Chocolate Island adventure continues. I gotta do the same thing for Chocolate Island 4 and Chocolate Island 5, and my quick destruction of Wendy at least gave me a break from that. Taking my sweet time in Sunken Ghost Ship to make sure I don't miss a coin in the final room, I marked that dragon coin list off. And for the sake of time, that's pretty much what I continued for the rest of the game. I scooped up the moon entering Valley of Bowser, and then I took care of the coins in Valley of Bowser 1, Valley Ghost House, Valley of Bowser 3, Larry, which I of course also got an achievement for, and finally Valley of Bowser 2. Time to rinse and repeat this for the Twin Bridges, as well as Vanilla Dome. While I'm here, I re-entered Lemmy's castle using the L and R triggers, which also is on the list. Fun fact, you can only do this on the American release. Continuing the trek backwards, I grabbed the Donut Plains 4 moon, and the coins I had yet to encounter. Moving into Yoshi's Island, there's a hidden 1-up location hiding above in Yoshi's Island 4, another moon in Yoshi's Island 1, and finally, I collected the final set of dragon coins I needed among the main worlds. Trying to piece together what else was still on my list, there were still 2 moons left, one in Vanilla Dome 3, and another in Cheese Bridge area. Making it back down to Forest Evolution, oops, I still got Blue Switch left. I figured out where to source a blue Yoshi, and of course I used the blue Yoshi to hit the blue switch. This simultaneously gave me an achievement for hitting all 4 switch palaces. Considering I had already been chipping away at this for 3 hours now, I thought this was a decent wrap-up point, and when returning the next day, I noticed I only had 95 exits. Uh-oh, I missed one somewhere. I first tried the usual culprits, somewhere in Starworld or Forest of Illusion, but it shockingly wasn't either of those. It was Chocolate Secret I abandoned. I had played it previously, but I had a tragic death there, and I guess I just walked away from it and completely forgot. Weird. Either way, we now finally had achieved 96 exits. So we got the switches, moons, and most of the coins out of the way, so what next? Well, I completely forgot about these green star blocks. These will reward you a 1-up only if you have grabbed 30 coins within the level the block is housed in. Pretty quickly, I was able to get these checked off by doing it in Chocolate Island 3, Butterbridge 1, Donut Plains 3, and Yoshi's Island 3. Alrighty then, that's another group of achievements checked off. So now, let's tackle some more random ones. The first I took a look at was hitting 50 stars on the ending gold tape, which from what I can gather is a frame perfect trick. I originally started trying this in Yoshi's Island 2 and 3, but then I realized the best spot to try this, Starworld 3. You can just simply hijack Lakkitu's cloud and wait until the gold tape is perfectly aligned. This took me a bit, but I eventually was consistently getting 40 every single time, and from that point I just had to get lucky and hit the perfect frame. 20 minutes into doing this, I finally got my timing correctly. At the same time, I was also trying to tackle another bonus related task, getting a perfect bonus game by getting a complete set of items in the roulette. This proved off the bat to be slightly trickier than I initially expected, so I'll come back to this one later on. Continuing the silly one-offs, next is another thing that casuals may not know about, being able to kill a Big Boo. All I need to do is slide on stairs, and easy peasy. A slightly harder one though is in Yoshi's Island 2, and requires you to stomp all these Koopas at the beginning using a cape ground pound. This took me a handful of tries, but eventually I got into a rhythm and kept tweaking it until I got the timing just right. Staying in World 1, Iggy has its own challenge as well, scoring 8 1-ups on the cages in the first room, but additionally having to do it with a time above 2:30, requiring you to do this relatively quick. This one also took me a few attempts, but once I pieced together how the different Koopas moved back and forth, and when I needed to be on different sides of the cage, I had no issue. I did this with just a couple in-game seconds to spare. Next is all the way at the end of the game in Front Door, requiring you to clear all 8 numbered doors in a single session. To make this easier, I just went back to Yoshi's Island 1 to grab a glitched orb power-up. I immediately used this in Front Door, and why you may ask? Well, since this allows me to quote-unquote beat Front Door, I unlock the ability to start select out of the stage. This means that once I clear 2 sets of doors, I can exit out of the dark room, and then I can just re-enter the level and repeat. This prevents me from having to die multiple times. This helped speed up the process a bit, and I got this pretty quickly as well. After this, I had realized my laundry finished, and I had the perfect achievement that I could do without actual gameplay. Entering Special World, I took care of my clothes, and 2 minutes later, as the music switched, I got another for the books. Coming back, there were a few more achievements in Special I had completely neglected. The first was a simple fact of dragon coins I still had to collect here. With Star World being lumped into this, I took care of Star World 1 and then every Special World stage. There are additionally 2 more individual level challenges. The first, in Groovy, requires you to beat the level without landing past the first question mark block. And I'm not really sure why this was in here, as all I had to do was grab a cape and fly over the stage. I guess there are a couple points in the level that you do have to be aware of your height, and maybe my speedrunner advantage made this mind-numbingly easy, but that felt too easy. While I had no issues with the one in Tubular as well, it at least made more sense from a casual standpoint. I needed to beat the stage without a P-Balloon or a Blue Yoshi. Not that bad. Now it's time for yet another set of 1-ups I still wasn't even close to completing by this point. Hidden 1-ups. There are many areas throughout the game that if you move around correctly, will reward you with such. You may remember I scooped a couple up earlier, but that's just because those are the 2 I knew about and remembered offhand. With how many there are in total, here's a quick rundown of every single one left. Donut Plains 1, Donut Plains 4, Vanilla Ghost House, Vanilla Dome 4, Vanilla Fort, Cookie Mountain, Forest of Illusion 3, Chocolate Island 2, Wendy, Valley of Bowser 2, Larry, and finally, another in Valley of Bowser 2. I had to reset the game in order to get this one to work, since I had already activated the other one, and it originally didn't do anything on my first attempts. Since we are already on a 1-up kick, I tackled the final thing related to such, entering every single 1-up bonus room chamber throughout the game. There are a decent handful of these spread throughout. In fact, here is where they all are. Valley of Bowser 3, Valley of Bowser 1, Chocolate Island 5, Forest of Illusion 3, Ludwig, Vanilla Dome 3, Morton, Donut Plains 3, and lastly, Donut Plains 1. At this point, there is now only a single-digit amount of achievements up for grabs. Before ending my second session here, I tried out one more, beating Funky with 300 or more on the timer. I tried the perfect bonus game a few more times, but still couldn't get all the way there, so I guess that I'll have to wait for day 3. Inching into the final day, there are still 6 more achievements to collect, the 2 we've already tried and put on the back burner, as well as 4 that pertain to beating certain parts of the game as only Small Mario. The first is starting from Yoshi's Island 2 and getting all the way to Lemmy's Castle in World 3. This was going smoothly until Vanilla Dome 1, where I picked up a star power-up to make Room 2 here easier. You may wonder, why would you even think to try that? Well, in a small only speedrun, believe it or not, stars are allowed, so that's the mental rule set I had in mind. I obviously understand why that isn't the same here, and why a lot of people would ban such, but this meant I had to start back from the very beginning. Minus having to restart, this wasn't too much of a challenge for a majority of it. I ended up playing very casually in World 3, since I had zero clue how to move through here fast while small, but in the end, I did conquer Lemmy. The next smalling achievement though, oh god, I am going to go on a giant rant here. So this one requires you from Cheesebridge to beat Forest Fortress and Roy while small, which is a pretty digestible goal, right? Well, here's how I went about doing it. After Ludwig, I took the right side of Forest and made my way down to Forest of Illusion 3. Getting the normal exit there, I looped back to the ghost house and did the left route down to Forest Fort. That's 1 out of 2 of the required levels beaten, so then I go all the way back down to Forest of Illusion 3, and that's when I realized, oh geez, this is probably not what was intended by whatever casual player programmed this. The secret exit to get to Roy normally requires breaking these yellow blocks, which you can normally only do with a spin jump when big, but it is possible small. If you grab a Galumba, you can clip it into this wall and cause the yellow block to start spinning. I was still questioning if they really expected people to do this, but either way, I trudged on. I was almost done with this, so I enter Roy, get to the end, beat him, and where the hell was my achievement? It didn't give it to me. I was robbed. I did exactly what was written. Beat the fort and Roy from Cheesebridge without any power-ups. So what gives? Well, my friends, scrolling to the comments, I figured out that this achievement in particular is a complete mess that shouldn't have been made to begin with. Thanks to the comments, I specifically used a route from Matt Gamer to follow exactly what will give you the achievement. Yes, you have to follow an ultra-specific route to unlock this, even though this is one of the main worlds you can very easily make your own path in. Who thought that was a smart idea? This was flawed from the very start. Anyways, starting back from the beginning, the first change was in Forest of Illusion 1. You were supposed to grab the secret by using the P-Balloon, which, fair enough I guess, you're technically still Small Mario here, but that is the least of my concerns. As you can imagine, you still have to do the same left route to go all the way down to the fort, but then coming back up, you're supposed to get the normal exit in Forest of Illusion 4, which, sure, that's one way to get back to the right, but why can't I just go back all the way to the right where I already was? After that, I'm told that before even thinking about Forest 3 Secret, I need to do the normal exit first. And again, why? That's absolutely unnecessary. If you decide to stick with this arbitrary set of rules, here's the final part that absolutely baffled me. You're supposed to grab a mushroom during the level, and then you can do the secret exit as intended. What? I thought this was a small only challenge. This should have either taken place somewhere else, or should have stopped at the fort, cause this is ridiculous. And before entering Roy, you must re-enter Forest 3 to lose your mushroom, and then you can start select out of it. And yeah, I guess they give you a mushroom exception for that one level, and they expect you to magically take the correct steps to handle such, but oh my god. Doing all of this, I at least finally unlocked the achievement, but what a load of garbage this is. I think this achievement should be completely removed if it's going to be this confusing. I shouldn't have to grab a level by level guide in the comments just to unlock this. Doing so means you failed in making an achievement that even makes sense. Try again. I hope for future players' sake that this is fixed at some point, and I can continue to ramble about this, so I'm gonna cut myself off from that while I still can. I'm happy to report that at least the other small only challenge requirements made way more sense. The next is getting from Chocolate Island to Front Door and requires unlocking every possible level entrance. This excludes Chocolate Island 3, because from a casual standpoint, this may seem impossible, but what if I told you it's not? It's not easy, but if you grab 2 shells, you can clear enough distance for the second gold tape. I'm not complaining about this being excluded though. I was worried at first I would have to learn this just to wrap this all up, but nope, I've been spared. Because of this, Chocolate Island 4 and 5 are omitted as well. So instead, you take the route through Chocolate Secret that pops you over to Wendy, and then Valley of Bowser is Valley of Bowser. That's pretty straightforward. It just felt like an abridged version of a 96 exit speedrun. Last of all the small run-throughs was in Special World, and this one I would argue is the most warranted. After my frustration from Forest, this was a decent contrast. And while this world gave me a run for my money, at least this one came from the game itself and not from stupid arbitrary goals I needed to hit in order to clear it. Special World is very hard, yet very simple. You just need to clear the gold tape of each level, and you move forward by 1 space. Simple enough. Seeing the super player message in Funky once again, that's all I needed to finally be done with that grouping of achievements. So with that, I've almost conquered the game, but remember, there's still 2 achievements I abandoned earlier on. The first one that made sense to get out of the way was a perfect bonus game, so I went back to Star World 3 to grind out some more stars. Once more, I didn't get this on my first attempt, but at this rate, I at least figured out that you could consistently get the same item on each block if you jump in a consistent rhythm. So all I needed to do was not just do that, but make sure the consistent item matched with the one already placed in the middle. I had my close moments, but I finally, after trial and error, had a run where I was completely locked in. And boom, that is how you perform a perfect bonus game. Look at all those extra lives. Now, I can address the final achievement that honestly is very appropriate for being the last one, saving the princess, but as Fire Mario. I grabbed what was necessary and made my way over. This may be a bit anticlimactic, but what else is there to say here? I played the Bowser fight once more, and I just had to make sure I kept my Fire Flower. Nothing crazy. With that though, that's how I ultimately got every single achievement in Super Mario World. 85 in total. Well yes, I did notably have one major complaint with one of the achievements in the set here, I think the whole concept of bringing this idea into retro games is absolutely brilliant. This breathes new light into older games that you may have run out of ideas for at this point. I can tell you that's exactly how I felt with Super Mario World. It was refreshing to have a completely new and exciting reason to play this, and this makes me want to do the same thing, but with other older games. In fact, let me know if you'd be interested in seeing me do this for other titles. I'm eager to at least try this with a few other Mario releases, but until I decide to do such, that's all I have left to say. Hope you enjoyed this exploration of Super Mario World, and thanks for watching.